Today, I'm going to show you how the life of this man by the name of Aristotle Onassis, how his achievement can actually give us some lesson that we can apply in a practical manner in the 21st century. All right? You don't want to miss this, so please make sure you grab yourself some comfort food, make yourself comfortable, and stay tuned. Welcome to Mountain of Inspiration. My name is Dimitri. This is a place where you can expect to receive a daily dose of motivation and transformation. And more specifically, I am the man. I am the guy who basically can help you resurrect your dream, can help you reignite the passion that you have for that one dream, and actually get you to actually keep going in a uncommon fashion and get you the result that you're looking for in a very tangible manner. All right? So without any further ado, let's get right into it. As I was saying yesterday, Aristotle Onassis was born on January 20th in 1906, and very quickly, by the time he reached age 16 and graduated from school, he was able to speak fluently 4 different languages: English, Greek, Spanish, and of course, Turkish. And after that point, he decided that yes, because the relationship that he was having with his father was not all the best, Mr. Socrates Onassis, he decided yeah, at that point, because his mom as well, Penelope Onassis, already passed away, dad had remarried, and dad was actually getting into politics, and politics was actually getting into trouble. He said to himself, you know what, I speak languages, I speak Greek, I speak Turkish, I speak Spanish. Let me just find a way to actually relocate and go to a different part of the world and try to actually see how I can actually make things happen for myself. He decided to actually move to Argentina, to Buenos Aires. As he gets there, he finds a job as a telephone operator. So this is now we'd like to actually pay close attention. He finds a job as a telephone operator. And basically, as is in charge of basically back in the days, someone would actually make a phone call, they receive the phone call and take the line and transfer that to the other person. And in the midst of doing that, the person, basically the operator, could stay on the line to listen to what was actually being said and, of course, catch something that could actually be interesting or something of value. And that's exactly what happens, because around this time, 2 things happen. Number one, he started also learning about the stock market, and learning through the stock market, and also listening to different conversations between very wealthy people who will be calling to actually be transferred to a different person. He actually finds a way to actually make a transaction that lands him $700 on the table. That was back in the early 1920s. That was the first windfall. The second windfall, 2 things. According to legend, or according to some people, basically it was again as a telephone operator that one day he happens to actually overhear that there was a talk about actually putting someone in the movie to be smoking cigarettes. So that actually caught his attention. He realized there was a market for that. And of course, with the money he already made from the transaction on the stock market, he started actually buying himself some very fancy clothes and trying to actually spend time with the wealthy people after work. And spending time with the wealthy people and also listening to the conversation, he realized that there was a market, a potential market for the cigarette for this young, booming generation of women in Argentina who wanted to be independent and smoke as much as they wanted. He realized that there was a market for that. So he did his homework and realized that the cigarette that was actually being sold in Argentina was actually coming from tobacco in Havana. And that tobacco was a bit too strong for the lungs and for the smell that was actually living all over the place. So he started doing some research. He said to himself, my father back in Turkey, back in Greece, he was doing some business to do with also tobacco. So let me call my father and see if he can actually start sending me something I can sell to this local manufacturer or local distributors in Argentina. This is what he did. He got a first shipment of raw tobacco, and he tried to resell in Argentina. The response was a bit lukewarm, but he was not actually deterred by the response. So he said to himself, if these people are not going to actually pick on the fact that, you know what, this is a much better tobacco and they can actually become themselves manufacturers and also distributors of the own product within this country, I'm going to actually create my own brand. So he decided to actually put together this brand, Osman and Primeros. And as he put together these two brands of cigarettes, he started selling them within the local market. And guess what? Very quickly, it was a success, but not as much as he would have wanted. Being a very phenomenal business person, guess what he did? He decided to actually start looking around to look at how people actually mingle, to look at how the people actually looking up to the different people within the society as leaders or as influencers. So he spotted a person by the name of Claudia Musio, who was at the the time a soprano opera singer. So he goes after Claudia Muzio, and before long they become an item. As they become an item, he actually in a very soft way gets to actually become then the one to actually be the ambassador for the brand. And before you know it, all the picture taken of Claudia Muzio actually puffing the cigarette by the name of Osman or Primeros became a sensation. All the young people wanted to actually be seen also smoking the Osman or Primeros, and before you know it, it was a tremendous success. He started making money, and at that point, he realized, of course, that I'm actually bringing this good from all the way from Greece to come into Argentina. But you know what? As far as my profit margin is concerned, I realized I'm actually paying way too much taxes. When it comes to importing this good into Argentina. So he tried to actually go to Greece and try to actually broker a deal with the local government. And guess what? As a result of this deal that he actually got with the local government in Greece, he found himself as a consul for the Greek government in Argentina. So with this title of consul, he actually then found a way to actually lower the taxes he would be paying, basically bring them close to nothing and actually get a bigger profit. And with this, he realized, you know what, there's also something I need to actually attend to. I need to find a way to actually make sure I'm also attending to the bottom, because you know what, shipping from all the way from Greece to Argentina is costing me lots of money. So how about I actually get into the shipping business? So he called around and started making phone calls, and someone said to him, you know what, there's a company in Canada that actually selling a fleet of ships. So you can actually call them and they can actually make a deal with you. So he called the Canadian company and they gave him a price. And he said, no, that price is too much. You know what? I'm a charismatic person. I can walk away from this deal. I don't need this deal. I'm going to pay you $20,000 for each ship. And guess what? Canadians say, you know what? If you have the money, we're going to make things happen. He got the ships for less than basically it was actually being advertised for. And when he had the ship and he started shipping the goods between Greece and Argentina, before long he said to himself, you know what? I think I'm onto something. I got an idea. How about expanding my fleet of ships and get into the bigger business and start actually transporting bigger goods and making the big bucks? And that from that point he decided to actually relocate from Argentina and go to New York City, and the rest is history. Why did I actually share this story with you? Because while this thing started back in the 1920s, so almost 100 years ago, we can say that, you know what, this is our story. But if you look at how we actually managed to actually do things, you can see that it's also possible to duplicate the same model and use actually the same model as a paradigm to actually make things happen in the 21st century. Basically, it's all about being in the right places. So, for example, he was working as a telephone operator. In today's economy, in today's culture, you can almost say that, yes, it's basically just listening on a conversation on Clubhouse. So he goes to Clubhouse and he listens to a conversation taking place between great intelligent people, and he actually picks up on a few tips, and based on his tip, he decides to actually go do some more research and actually go to the stock market, make actually an investment, and actually get a very handsome return on his investment. First step. Second step, just decide to actually go back to Clubhouse or any place where basically people are actually talking about some very intelligent things. And based on the conversation they're actually listening to, you understand there is a trend. People are looking for a particular item or service, and actually decide to actually be a service provider or a product provider for that very particular need. And he put himself in the market. You start making phone calls and try to identify sources that can help you put that product on the table, or sources that can help you put together a group of people that can provide that service that people are looking for. Number two. And number three, if you realize that, you know what, people cannot do it as well as you would like, why don't you actually get into the thing and start making things happen the way that he did? And last but not least, in doing that, you will come to a place that you need to find marketing your product or your service. And all you have to do is find an influencer to act as your brand ambassador. And from that point, try to find a way to actually bring down the cost that actually that you have as an overhead, and try to bring them as much as possible, and try to find creative ways to actually improve your bottom line, because that's exactly how you're going to get to the top. And from that point, you simply have to find a way to keep expanding until you get to the top, as Mr. Aristotle Onassis did back in the 1920s. And by the time he died in 1975, this guy was an iconic giant that everyone looked up to when it comes to making things happen in the world of business. All right, I'm gonna stop you for now, but before I go, three things that I can ask you to do. Number one, please make sure you like this video. Number two, please make sure you leave a comment. Number three, please make sure you share this video with as many people as possible so we can continue to grow together as a tribe. All right, thanks again for watching and looking forward to sharing more with you in the days to come. Until then, take good care and remember, the best is yet to come. Okay.